Hello, and welcome to the class of 2024. We are so excited to have you with us today for your pirate adventure. My name is Nicole Giglia, and I am the Associate Director for Student Life. But today I'll be serving as your moderator for the Peer Advisor panel. The peer advisors will share a little bit about themselves and are here to answer any questions about life as a student at Seton Hall. Please feel free to send us questions in the chat box on the right side of your screen. So let's kick things off by meeting Miles Douglas. Miles?
Hello, everybody. My name is Miles Douglas. I am a senior here at Seton Hall University. I'm a double major in marketing and management, and I'm from Gonzales, Louisiana. And the thing that brought me here to Seton Hall was just the opportunity that we have here. I knew that I wanted to go to a place where I can feel like I'd be able to grow professionally and personally. And this is, I feel like, a great place and opportunity to do that. So next I want to introduce Miss Ellis Small.
Hi guys, so like Miles said, my name is Ellis Small. I am a rising senior, and my two majors are diplomacy and then social work. I'm from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and what brought me all the way to the East Coast to Seton Hall was their amazing diplomacy program. I always knew that I wanted to be out of state for college. And so it was really an exciting opportunity for me to venture outside of my comfort zone and be somewhere different with a really good program for what I wanted to do. And up next, we have Elise Cream.
Thank you, Ella. Hi, class of 2024. Like Ella said, my name is Elise Cream. I will be a junior this coming year, and I'm from Sparta, New Jersey, which is all the way up north, more north than you probably think exists for New Jersey. I have two majors in English and political science. What brought me to Seton Hall really was the community aspect that we have here and the opportunity for growth in various different disciplines. So now I'm going to introduce you to my friend Ellis Mitchell.
Hi guys, it's Ellis Mitchell over here. I'm a senior. I'm also a sports management and marketing major with a minor in psychology, so quite the busy guy. This is my third year as a peer advisor, and I chose Seton Hall because it's close to my hometown of Staten Island, New York, but not too close, so I have a little bit of distance, which is nice. So excited to meet you guys.
Nicole, you're muted.
Thank you to our panelists for joining us today. Our first question is going to go to Miles. Miles, what is a PA and what do they do to help first-year students?
So a peer advisor is someone who helps you transition from your from high school to college. So we're in your classes during university life, and we help students teach that, but then also we help our students outside of the classroom. So we make sure that they have everything that they need to do academically and then socially to help our students find who they are here at Seton Hall, and just really help the transition to make it be as smooth as possible and make sure that they have a great time here.
And Miles, we actually have a follow-up question from the chat for that. How will you know who your peer advisor is?
So you will actually meet your peer advisor today. So earlier this week, we sent out meeting invites for your peer advisor connections. And during that time period, you will actually have a lot of one-on-one time with your peer advisor.
Thanks, Miles. All right, so Ella, we have a question for you. As an out-of-state student, what would you say is the biggest adjustment that you had to make when coming to Seton Hall?
That's a great question. I think that the biggest adjustment that I had to make personally was that I had to put a lot of effort into connecting with people and making friends. The high school that I went to basically had the same people from my middle school and my elementary school. And so coming to Seton Hall, I really had to start putting myself out there. And thankfully, there were a lot of events and different ways for me to connect with different people. People in my peer advisor group were really helpful. There were different online events. I got involved in a couple of different organizations. And so Seton Hall definitely made it easier, but it was definitely an effort that I had to make.
Thanks, Ella. And on the flip side to that, Elise, you're a commuter. What is some advice you have for ways that commuters can get involved on campus?
Yeah, of course. I truly think that for commuters, it's really up to you. You know, now you're in college, the onus really comes on you. But don't think just because you're not in the dorms that that's something that can't be there for you. You can still get the college experience. And it's something that you should be wanting as you're coming into college, to make new friends, to branch out, to find new interests. So instead of going home right after classes, you know, stay in the library, go to one of the cafes on campus, join organizations events. And while you're there waiting in between classes, don't be nervous. Just text someone, whether it's someone in one of your classes or maybe in your PA group or your PA themselves, and ask them to hang out. So I know it's almost like starting all over again and making new friends, but as a commuter, you really do got to put that effort in, because maybe you're not on campus all the time. You're not sleeping there. I personally love Seton Hall just beyond the classroom. I've made so many great friends, so many great experiences, and I really owe it all to the school. But I know that if I didn't put myself out there, I wouldn't have all these great experiences. So really, if you see an organization that piques your interest, just stay that night, stay the extra few hours, and in that free time, if you're not doing work, maybe hang out with some friends.
Thank you, Elise. Ellis, we have a big question for you. Is there really a difference between high school and college coursework? And if so, what advice do you have?
So I took like IB classes during high school, so that's International Baccalaureate. And I really did like a lot of college level coursework in my like 11th, 12th grades. So for me, and this is just me personally built with, again, my perspective and experience, like the vast majority of college I've personally found to be a bit easier, because again, instead of 5 days of the same classes, 7:30 to 3:30, you'll make your own schedules in just a little bit. And again, you'll really see how much free time you have. The thing is, I like to believe I have a strong work ethic. I use my free time just to, again, get ahead and work. I think that's a major key. So everyone has different strategies to accomplish work. You just want to make it a goal not to procrastinate in college. It sounds like, it really sounds crazy, but you guys will all receive your class syllabus the first week of classes, and then you'll see the entire schedule of, again, what assignments are due as the semester goes along. So those are the assignments. They won't change. Do them now. Thank yourself later. That's my motto.
Thanks, Ellis. Elise, I have a question for you from the chat. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to find an internship and your experience with that?
Yeah, so the Career Center on campus is actually really great. Normally at the beginning of every week, sometimes bi-weekly, they actually send a posting of not only part-time jobs, but internship opportunities, whether it's immediate or maybe for the next upcoming semester for the summer. So that's how I found mine, was through the Career Center. By all means, you definitely can search on your own. I know a lot of people have searched like through LinkedIn and things like that, but the Career Center is here. It's a resource on campus, and they're super helpful. I would recommend every freshman, it's never too early to set up a meeting with the Career Center. They really, really helped me polish up my resume, write a good cover letter. And if you're not really comfortable with interviewing and things like that, they can help you with those skills as well. So definitely make it a point to visit the Career Center. They can help you take your high school experience, which maybe you might think is not relevant, but they can really make you polish it up to make yourself seem more professional. So I actually did meet with my Career Center advisor about twice before I interviewed for my internship that I have this summer, which hopefully is going to start soon. So that'll be a great experience. As far as internships, some of them are paid, some of them are unpaid, but your unpaid internships you can get academic credit for. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
Thank you, Elise. Miles, how would a student join intramurals, and what has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, so intramurals are one of my favorite things about Seton Hall, honestly. So to join intramurals, all you have to do is get a group of friends. It could be the full team, or it could just be two of you. You just go to our rec center, and then you can sign up there. So the intramural sports that we have here starts off with flag football, and then we have basketball, which is probably the biggest intramural. That's during January. We have floor hockey. There is indoor soccer. There is volleyball. So there's anything that you can really think of. There's a lot of sports for that, and it's just a really good time to just hang out and meet new people. And it gets super competitive. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's very fun at the same time.
Miles, do you have any championships that you can tell us about?
So unfortunately, I have not won any championships. I've gotten close a few times, but I've never been able to pull the whole thing through. I can tell you, if you do win a championship, you get a nice T-shirt saying "Intramural Champions" of whatever sport you are, and you get on the Rec Center Instagram page. And another thing about intramurals is that there are also 3 levels. There's A level, B level, and C. A is the hardest. B is if you're just there, kind of competitive, but you still want to have a good time. And C is you're not the best at the sport, but you're just there for a good time. I'm more of a C level guy for most of them, but sometimes I bump it up.
Well, Miles, we'll be rooting for you to get that t-shirt before you graduate.
Thank you.
Let's see. Ellis, we have a question about ways to get involved in different clubs on campus and the kinds of events that we have at Seton Hall.
Yeah, so one of the cool aspects about Seton Hall, and this is probably the biggest advice I give to my students, is to get involved. From day one, you want to get involved, you want to see what different clubs and organizations are on campus, and that's how you're going to make different friends outside of your peer advisor group. So again, Seton Hall is home to over 150 clubs and organizations. I'm actually in the student activities board, so we do a lot of activities, whether it's, again, Blue Day, which you'll see, or speakers, or coffee house, like performers on campus. There's just all these different events, and you have weekend programming. It's not just during the week, it's also the weekends as well. So once you're back on campus, or once we return, there will be an involvement fair, and then you can go around and see which different clubs and organizations have your interest. And you can also follow so many of them on Instagram, Twitter, and other social media. So there's so many options to get involved, and your peer advisor will be such a great resource and have so many recommendations on things that maybe you'll be interested in. So don't be afraid to reach out to your PA like myself. And again, we'll always have your best interest in mind if we want you to be involved and have a great time at Seton Hall.
Thank you, Ellis. Ella, let's talk a little bit about how students can get connected to each other before they come to Seton Hall in the fall. What is some advice you have for doing that?
I think something that I definitely utilized was my peer advisor group. Ellis mentioned this before. Your PA is a great resource to help you get familiarized with the campus even before you're there. And your PA group, you guys will be having U-Life together a couple times in the summer, and your PA will be having events to connect you guys with each other. And outside of that, there's also always a Facebook group for your class that people are active on. Sometimes people find roommates through there. They ask questions about textbooks and that sort of stuff. So we definitely have social media that can really help you connect with people. You can also follow different Seton Hall accounts. There's ones for the Student Activities Board. There's one for it's called Hall Students, which I'm sure that will tell you all about those different things. But there's lots of different ways to get familiarized with the campus and your classmates before you get to campus.
Thanks, Ella. We have a lot of great questions coming into the chat, so if we don't get to all of them today, be sure to ask your peer advisor or your first year advisor in your session later today at 1, and then anything we can't get to, we'll be putting on our Pirate Adventure frequently asked question page. So keep those questions coming. This next one, Elise, is for you. Can you tell us what a typical day at Seton Hall might look like?
Yeah, of course. So I actually was just going to start off with your morning classes, but I think even before that is the annual Dunkin' Run. Those Dunkin' lines get to be pretty long on campus, but it's an essential as a busy college student. So typically, you'll go to your classes, your morning classes. Many students, with the way our schedules are structured, have breaks in between. So those breaks are great to either branch out and meet new friends, to maybe study a little bit, get some work done. There's always a little bit of downtime, which is the big difference, I think, about high school and college. You have a lot of more free time, but you might also have more work. So you really have to you'll start to learn how to manage your time and know what you're going to do in these breaks. There's also always some sort of event on campus, which is great. The Student Activities Board, like Ella and Ellis mentioned earlier, are always hosting something on campus, and normally around midday, so you can make it in between your breaks, which is super nice. There's some organization doing a tabling, or the university is doing a tabling. There's always something going on, which is really nice. You might have more classes, you might not, depending how you make your schedules, which your kids do in about an hour. Then it's definitely time to get to work. Very important that you stay on top of your schoolwork in college. There's no one really chasing after you to make sure it's getting done. So make sure you schedule that from yourself. But it's also important to take care of yourself and make sure that you're scheduling some time in there for yourself, whether it's just taking 10 minutes to breathe, going to the gym, just do something for yourself. If you want to join a club or organization on campus, a lot of them do have their meetings starting about 5 to 7 p.m. So there's that, and that's pretty much a day at Seton Hall. There's so much to do on campus, though. You can sit in the library, there's quieter floors, or there's floors to be a little more social. We have various different cafes and just a lot of places to lounge. We have the green, which is great in the warmer months.
So Elise, as a commuter, where's your favorite place to hang out in between classes?
Oh, my favorite place, is probably definitely the Pirates Cove, which is like our version of a Starbucks, and it's just a little cafe. For me, I don't like it when it's like too silent. I need some background noise, when I'm doing my work. So I love to sit on the Cove, but don't get me wrong, in those warm months, I am the first person out with a picnic blanket on the green.
Thanks, Elise. Miles, we have a question about what it's like to join Greek Life. How did you decide to join Greek Life, and what would be the process for a student who wanted to do that?
So I joined Greek Life my second semester, sophomore year, and I could probably say that it was one of the best decisions I've made so far here at Seton Hall. The way I got involved in Greek Life is there's things called rush weeks, where basically each organization will have, at least for fraternities, there'll be organizations where they'll put on different events where you can go to their events and just go there and meet the brothers of each organization. And then for sororities, it's kind of a different process, where there's a weekend where you go and you meet each and every sorority, and you just see who you mesh well with, essentially. So joining Greek Life is really a really fun experience. You get to meet a lot of new people. I can honestly say that I've met some of my best friends I will ever have in life in Greek Life, and it's just a wonderful opportunity just to branch out, explore, and meet new people. And then also there's a lot of different events that we host so on campus, we host different tabling events where we'll go out, we'll sell some like pastries, or we'll have some type of activity for people to just come up and just meet our organization.
Thank you, Miles. Ellis, this next question is you. How would you advise a student who wanted to develop a relationship with their faculty member? What's the easiest way to approach a professor?
So the cool thing about Seton Hall is that there's so many like awesome faculty and staff here. Again, some of them are actually some of my closest friends. Some of them I text pretty frequently, which is kind of funny. Again, coming from high school, maybe you didn't speak to your teachers or your staff that much, but here at Seton Hall, it really is a community. It's a small school, and then one of the best ways to really connect with them would be to go to their office hours. So again, just participate in class. If you have questions about anything, like, again, I was confused about this thing you went over, I was confused about that. You can always go to your faculty, your professor, and then have office hours with them. So it's pretty cool. So again, they have their office hours listed at the door. Sometimes they include in the syllabus too, and then you stop in, and again, you can really build a great connection. So again, this doesn't apply just to your professors. Your first year advisors are also really accommodating. You can go schedule appointments with them after, again, you register, and then again, once you see them closer to next semester. But there's a lot of great ways to connect, and office hours, I feel like, is just the start. Really just make the effort, and again, some of them could be people you really look up to and really develop connections with. So enjoy.
Thank you, Ellis. Ella, What is something you wish you knew before coming to Seton Hall?
I think that I just wish that I'd been a little bit more optimistic. Like I wish that I'd known how welcoming everybody was going to be, like the faculty, your advisors, upperclassmen. I wish that I had known that, because I was so anxious about making friends in college, that honestly my first semester it kind of paralyzed me, and I was just really scared that I like wasn't cool enough because my high school was really cliquey. So I wish that I'd just known how open and friendly everybody was, because as soon as I started to reach out a little bit, it was like this sea of people who were just willing to connect with me all the time. And now I walk around campus and everywhere I go, it's like I have 5 or 6 friends there to talk to, and it's awesome.
Thanks, Ella. Ellis, we have a question that I think is perfect for you. Can you talk to us about how to join the pep band, and maybe tell us a little bit about basketball and what it's like to be at the Prudential Center?
Okay, I see what you did there. So yeah, I am in the Seton Hall pep band. I play trumpet there. I've played trumpet since 4th grade. Playing trumpet's great. But we will have like an interest meeting in August, and then we typically meet Thursday nights starting at about 6:30, and then we just play through to 8. Great group of people. It's a great time. But basketball games. Again, Seton Hall, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but Seton Hall was really good last year. First place. We tied for first for the Big East standings. And again, it's a really exciting year. It's a really exciting time to be a Pirates fan. Even though we might have lost Miles Powell, we have a lot of great talent coming in. Tyree Samuel is fantastic. There's a lot of great players and student athletes on the team. But basketball experience is a really good time. I would recommend everyone go to at least one game their freshman year. A lot of people buy season tickets. And again, if you want more information on season tickets and just about Seton Hall basketball and athletics too, you can always speak to your PA. But again, it's just a really cool experience. The Rock, that's where we play our games. And again, you can take pictures with the Pirate. The Pirate's so nice. And again, it's really nice to support our student athletes, not just for men's basketball, but for all sports too. Like, again, we really have a really talented crew here at Seton Hall, and it's just a great time, like I said, to be a Pirate. Go Pirates!
Thanks, Ellis. So we have time for a few more questions, but before we get there, I just want to make a note. At 1 o'clock, you'll be meeting with your first year advisor and your peer advisor. You should have received an email sending you an invite for that meeting. So check your email to make sure that you've accepted it. If you've already accepted it, you should see the calendar invite on the calendar tab on the Teams app, and you'll just click join when it's time for you to do that. So make sure you go back to your email. If you didn't get an email, please email freshman@shu.edu so that we can get you in there at 1 o'clock. Okay, so our next question, Ella, we had a few people ask, what are some tips on staying organized?
That is probably one of the most important things about college life, is staying organized and staying on top of your work. So that's a great question. I would say that there are sort of 3 things that I use to make sure that I'm staying organized. The first one is my class syllabi. So for every class, your professor will give you a syllabus outlining the materials that you'll need, the way that your classes will look. It'll basically, I just hold on to that throughout the entire semester. If I have a reading assignment, I do it and then I highlight it. If I have an assignment I need to turn in, then I can always go back to my syllabus and see where that is. So I would definitely always recommend printing out your syllabi. I would also recommend having a physical planner that you can write things down in. Writing things down just sticks them in your brain in a different way than typing them out. So if you're writing down, especially big events, big tests, quizzes, that sort of stuff into a planner, then you'll be more likely to remember them, and you'll be able to see them before they're happening. So the week before, you can start studying a little bit for your test and prepping for it. And then the last thing that I use is my Outlook calendar. I put all of my classes into my Outlook calendar right at the beginning of the semester, and all of my weekly commitments I put in my Outlook calendar. So then I get a reminder on my laptop and on my phone 15 minutes before I need to be somewhere. So just in case I forget, then I still have time to be where I need to be.
Thanks, Ella. Miles, can you talk about how students can get involved in doing community service at Seton Hall?
Of course I can. So here at Seton Hall, we're huge into service leadership and really serving others. So much so that is a requirement for each freshman to have 10 hours of community service for by the end of their first semester. Or yeah. So it's really not as hard as you think it is because Seton Hall provides many opportunities for community service. So the first big one that we have is through our DOVE program, which is a program that really allows you to go out, do community service, and help others. The big thing that they do is service on Saturdays. And what that is basically you will get on a bus and they will bring you to some location where you would do about 5 hours of community service. And then that's an easy way to get 5 hours of your community service. And then they do that multiple times in the first semester. And so you can get your 10 hours easily through that way. But then outside of Dove and service on Saturdays, what we also do is we have a class called Journey of Transformation where we have a service class. And during that class period, you can actually go out and do some type of community service. It varies each week, but it's a lot of fun stuff in that you really give back to the community and really help the people around you. A few other ways that you can get involved in community service is clubs such as Habitat for Humanities. They go out and they go to like one big thing that they do each year is that they go to some city or some different place and they'll go help rebuild homes, or if there's a disaster, they'll help those people there. We also have a Red Cross club on campus where they also do different types of community service. So there are a lot of opportunities through clubs. And then the last big way is through, we have an organization called APO. That's actually a Greek life organization that's on campus. And with APO, it's a service organization where they do a lot of community service hours. We have a lot of peer advisors that are in APO. So if you have any questions about that, you can certainly ask your peer advisor about it. But yeah, so community service is something that's huge at Seton Hall, and there are plenty of opportunities and plenty of ways to get involved while you're here.
Thank you, Miles. Elise, if someone wanted to start their own club on campus, what is the process for doing that?
Yeah, of course. So wanting to start a new club on campus is great. It's a great way to take initiative and get leadership experience on campus, but it also is something that takes time. So of course, like the other peer advisors said, first, wait till the involvement fair and see if there's something, if the club already exists or if there's something at least similar. Maybe you can combine your ideas and just tweak the mission of the organization a little bit. That's probably the easiest way. But if you want to start from scratch, that's also great. So every semester, students are allowed to apply to start a new organization through the Student Organization Advisory Committee. It is overseen by the SGA secretary, who is currently Raven Campbell, if you guys wanted to jot down her name and email her. So there's a few requirements and guidelines that you're going to need to start an organization on campus. You're going to need a certain number of interested students. You are going to need a faculty advisor that has to be a full-time member, and they will need to write a letter of recommendation for the organization. You'll also have to write sort of a constitution and bylaws for the organization. So there's a deadline, which is usually in late October, late or mid-October, when you'll send in all your materials, everything that you're good to go. After that, the SGA secretary, who, like I said, is Raven Campbell, will review all your materials, make sure it's all good to go. If everything is good on your end, then you'll be scheduled for a presentation, which takes place in November. The presentation just should really showcase the potential of the organization, and the committee will have the ability to ask you any questions. They'll make a recommendation on whether the club should be established on Seton Hall's campus or not, and Dean Van Norman, who is our Dean of Students up in Student Life, makes the final approval on the club status. So it is a bit of a semester-long process, but it's a really great way to increase student engagement on our campus. So big props to you for already thinking about starting a club on campus. That's really exciting. Thank you.
Thank you, Elise. So we have a lot of great questions coming in about housing and what does it look like for getting housing, getting your roommates and all that. There will be an opportunity for you to ask the housing staff directly. So we won't go too much into that today, but we'd like to hear from Ella. Ella, can you tell us what it's like to live on campus?
Yeah, definitely. So I lived on campus for my freshman and sophomore years, and it was a great experience. I lived with a roommate, which I'm the only girl in my family, so I never had to share a room before, which was definitely a new experience. But housing is really good about making roommate agreements. So at the very beginning of the year, you meet with your roommate and with your suite mates. If you have them, to come up with sort of when are your quiet hours going to be, what do you expect you want like studying to look like, what's your policy on having guests in your room, that sort of stuff, to really facilitate good communication between you and your roommate. Housing is really great about helping you fix any maybe plumbing issues or lighting issues that you have in your room, and they're always available. Housing is also really good about security, so anybody that comes into any dorm building has to swipe in at the front desk. So if you're bringing a guest in who doesn't go to Seton Hall, then they'll need to bring their driver's license or ID of some sort and leave it with the front desk before they can come into the dorm building with you. What else about housing? It's really convenient. Living off campus definitely takes you a little bit longer to get to class. It's also a really great way to just meet people, because usually people are hanging around the dorm buildings, they're studying in lobbies or they're talking to friends. So it's a really great way to get connected with more people who go to Seton Hall.
Thank you, Ella. Ellis, can you tell us what is there to do in South Orange?
Oh boy, yeah, there's quite a few things to do in South Orange, which is pretty fun. Lots of great food places. One of my personal favorites is the Gridiron, and that's like a waffle breakfast place. They make great French toast, strawberry. I love my berries, but they have strawberry French toast, and that's what they got in Gridiron. There's also a lot of pizzerias and Italian food, such as the Trat. Bunnies is down there. BGR, going back to basketball. They have this promotion in games where if the opposing player misses 2 straight free throws, then you get free burgers, or I think half off burgers the next day, which is pretty cool. So if you come in with your ticket, if you went to the game, then you'll get like a half off a burger, which is pretty cool. The transit system's down here too. So again, South Orange Transit, you can go into the city. And then again, you have access to just New York. So it's so cool how close by you have to the train station, go to New York. I once saw Keenan Thompson and Melissa Villasenor just going through the train and then heading over there. Again, it was a quick ride, and in no time I saw 2 of SNL's coolest cast members. But South Orange, there's a lot of options. I can go on and on. I'll leave it with this. Cold Stone, it's an ice cream place. Great ice cream. Kind of pricey, but it's really good. I would strongly recommend just exploring downtown and getting to know just the various parts and quirks of South Orange. Oh, one more thing. Shoe Fly goes down. I'm so sorry. Shoe Fly goes down too. So Shoe Fly, you swipe in with your campus ID, and then that'll just bus you to various locations. So there's Targets, there's Rite Aids or Walgreens, and you could just stop off the Shoe Fly, which is essentially like a Seton Hall version of a bus, and then go in and get what you want. And all of that's very close to campus, and it's all in South Orange. So definitely explore South Orange. I'm sorry for all these different things that just started popping up, but it just shows like there's actually a lot to do. So really just make the most of it.
Thanks, Ellis. Elise, we have some questions about parking for commuters. What is that process like?
Sure. So parking services will send an email to your Seton Hall email. It comes through in about July, so just sit tight. Another reason why you guys should really be checking your Seton Hall emails, I highly suggest you maybe just add it to your phone so you can see it more consistently. But you'll have quite a while to purchase your parking pass. There's no stickers anymore. It's all license plate recognition, which is super cool. There's a few different options for your parking pass. You can either do it semesterally, for a year, or academic year. So definitely just pick the parking pass that's easiest to you. You'll go on, you'll select the parking pass that you like, and they bill it to your bursar. so it's connected to the same bill that you pay your tuition with.
And Elise, how is getting parking on campus?
There is plenty of parking on campus. It's all just up to where you like to park. There's a few surface lots we have. We have some by the bookstore. We have some by Bethany Hall. We also have the parking garage, and it's 5 levels. There's plenty of space on campus for you to park. So never have any fear. You'll find somewhere to park and you'll get to class on time.
Thanks, Elise. Okay, Miles, can you let us know what a student would need to do if they wanted to get a job on campus?
Yeah, of course. So there are a lot of job opportunities for students here at Seton Hall. So the big thing that most people do is you can go actually to the Seton Hall website, and there's a section where they have job listings specifically for students, and there are a ton of jobs on there, such as desk assistant, working in a certain department, working as in the front desk office, in certain departments, or even working at the front desk in the University Center or Bethany Hall. So there are really a lot of opportunities to get a job on campus. And another thing that you can do is, if you want to be more direct, you can talk to a department head, or like go into an office and just ask, hey, are there any opportunities for students to be, are there any opportunities for students to work here in this specific department? Or in a lot of things that they do, sometimes what happens is there'll be signs on just around campus on poster boards or something like that. Well, they have job opportunities, and so you can just call that number or go to that specific meeting, and then you can have an interview, or just set up an interview and talk to somebody in that department. I know my first campus job was working in the theater department, and so I just volunteered for them, and then after about 3 weeks of volunteering, they actually offered me a position. So there are a lot of ways to get involved with jobs on this campus. You just have to go out and find them.
Thank you, Miles. Ella, where would a student go if they need help with a class, looking for tutoring or any other sort of resources?
Yeah, so actually, since I'm in Colorado, I don't have my polo, so I'm actually wearing my tutor's jacket today. So we have the Academic Resource Center that is in one of our academic buildings, the Arts and Sciences building. It's up on the 2nd floor, and there are tutors there for basically every subject. We have a lot of tutors for science classes and core classes, and so you can schedule online. When you log into your Pirate Net, you'll be able to see all of these different sort of links. So you'll have like Blackboard, and then one of them will be Compass, where you can schedule appointments with tutors. So you can pick what class you need help with, and then you'll be able to see what available times there are. There's also the Writing Center in the library that can help you with looking over your essays and help you edit those things as well.
Thank you, Ella. So I just wanted to make one more announcement about our 1 o'clock session. You should check your email for an invite to your peer advisor and first year advisor meeting. If you did not get an email, please email freshmen@shu.edu as soon as possible. If you did accept the email, the invite would have gone right to your calendar. So if you go into the Teams app, there's a calendar tab, and you can just join the meeting right from there. Also, the housing information will be available during the parent orientation panel, which is tomorrow, and you can find more information about that on the Pirate Adventure website. Let's see, Elise, we have a question about changing majors. What is the process for that, and who should they go to?
Yes, so immediately you should go to your first year advisor. Just like how we emphasize that peer advisors are here for you in your transition from high school to college, just maybe a little more socially and emotionally, your first year advisor is who you need to go for academia. So just let them know how you're feeling, maybe why you're not liking the program, what your long-term career goals are, if you have an idea, and they can help guide you in a few potential majors. If you already have one in mind, then that's great. I highly suggest that you just explore all the different departments that Seton Hall has to offer. You can talk to students that are in those programs, taking courses in those departments, see how they like it, Maybe it can help you make a decision, but of course, don't make your own decision based on someone else's experience. I'm sure that Dean Kaiser mentioned the course catalog to you, so I definitely highly suggest that you view that online or a hard copy, and look through the courses that they offer in the major that you want to switch to. See if they really pique your interest, and if they don't, just keep searching through that until you find something that's right for you. But definitely consulting with your first year advisor is the most appropriate way to do that. They will help you step by step go through the paperwork. It's a very easy process. I did it too. And I know without my first year advisor, I would have been lost, and I probably still would have been in a major that I didn't want to be into. So just make sure that you're keeping that constant communication.
Thank you. Ellis, this question is for you. How do students utilize the rec center? What's the process for getting access?
So it's pretty similar to access to, let's say, your residence hall, where you have to swipe in. There's like desk assistants, DAs, to make sure that only Seton Hall students are getting in, so there is pretty safe. Swipe in, and then again you can take a right, and then you have the basketball courts. That's where Miles, maybe next year you'll win that intramural. I sure hope so. Go upstairs. You can go check out the gym area. So there's various, again, weights, treadmills, different classes, which is pretty cool. Seton Hall Rec Center has an Instagram account. I'm not sure if they have a Twitter, but they definitely have an Instagram with schedules for different classes they run. So I did Zumba a few times, which was pretty fun. Again, you just dance for a bit. I was terrible at it, but it was a good time. Spin class, you spin on a bike. Other classes they have strong. They have, I think it's kick. They have a few different classes, but the rec center, again, you swipe in, you have access to it. The hours, I think it closes at 10 p.m. at night. But again, you can go check it out throughout the day. You can go in between your classes if you're a commuter. It's open to everyone. It's really nice.
Thank you, Ellis. So for our last question today, I'm going to ask each of the panelists, what is your favorite Seton Hall tradition? So Miles, I'm going to start with you.
Well, my favorite tradition on campus is by far green season. So green season happens near the end of the school year after you've been through a long winter, and it finally warms up a little bit, and then you'll just go on the green and you'll just see hundreds and hundreds of people on the green throwing football, tanning, chilling out with their friends. I promise you'll hear about 1,000 different speakers going off, and it's just an amazing sight. Just everybody's on the green having a good time, chilling, and just enjoying the warmth that's finally here.
Thanks, Miles. Ella, what is your favorite Seton Hall tradition?
I think that my favorite Seton Hall tradition is a couple times a semester, usually around finals. We have emotional support dogs come to campus, and I love dogs a lot. And so they'll just go around to different buildings, and you just get to hang out with them and pet them. And it just is really stress relieving around finals, and it's just like so good and pure, and I love it so much.
Thanks, Ella. Elise, this question's for you. What's your favorite Seton Hall tradition?
My favorite Seton Hall tradition, I'm a big foodie, so without a doubt, it is the annual Food Truck Festival. Student Services and our Multicultural Advisory Committee host this every year. So just like it says, they bring a bunch of food trucks on campus, and it's completely free to students. You get a voucher to get food from one of the food trucks. It's a great way not only to enjoy some delicious food, but a great way to showcase that we really do value diversity at Seton Hall.
Thank you, Elise. And Ellis, we'll end it with you. What is your favorite Seton Hall tradition?
So I think a lot of people would agree with me. Christmas at the Hall, that's just such a good time. That's run by the Student Activities Board. Again, I'm in it. So again, I've seen both ends where as a participant and then kind of running the show. But again, you get a blue Santa hat. Those blue Santa hats go like hotcakes. Everyone wants one. It's a great time. The tree gets lit up. Last year, I put down the number. There's 42,620 lights on the tree last year. Who knows what that number will be in the future? But again, you get to take pictures with the tree. There's different performances from so many of our student organizations. And it's just a really good event to, again, build that community that Seton Hall is all about. So again, I can't wait for you guys to experience your Christmas at the Hall and just have a great tenure at undergrad, really. Have fun, guys.
Thank you, Ellis. And thank you to all of you for joining us today. If we didn't get to your question, please be sure to ask your peer advisor or your first year advisor in your next meeting, which is at 1 o'clock. You can check your email for the invitation. If you accepted the invitation, it'll then be in your calendar. Simply click the join button to make sure that you get into that Teams meeting. If you have any trouble, please email freshman@shu.edu as soon as possible. Thank you, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.